David Lloyd joins us live, legendary English cricketer, of course, turned commentator, the best in the business. David, you're welcome. We're so pleased to have your company this lunchtime. What did you think? It was must-win, was it, for India to get back on level terms?
Yeah, it was, but you can't help but think a missed opportunity for England with three of the premier players for India out of the team. The toss, it's emerging that the toss is going to be very, very important. And if you look at India's first innings, I'm amazed at that scorecard. Jaiswal, the opening batsman, scores 209 on his own. The next top score is 34. Now, you look at England's lineup, they got a couple of 50s, but lots and lots of 30s and 20s. And as a coach, you tear your hair out. 30s, 20s, you've done the hard work, you've got to kick on.
I see. So that's where they fell down, Simon. They're getting some runs, some of the players, but not enough runs. And obviously, India won it because of the one player who really knocked up the runs.
But it's similar to England's second innings. It was second innings in the first test where Ollie Pope gets 196. So one player carries the team. What I wanted to say to you, David, was ask you about the observations made before this second test by Mike Atherton, because it was already turned into, I thought this would be a difficult test for them. And I think, going on and assuming that England would win the rest of the series because we got a result on the first one seemed to be a very extreme observation. And so it's now played out that England have lost in the second test. What do you think's the thinking behind being so? Because everyone goes into the Indian series knowing it's a very difficult series to win. More often than not, we don't. Yeah. And yet, one test in, very educated voices are saying, "We're going to walk through this series."
Yeah, I mean, I'd back off that immediately. And we chatted previously that that's not Michael Atherton. Michael Atherton would always be a little bit cautious. So there's a surprise there. But 3 matches to go. The toss will be very, very important. And if you look at the way that England play, they talk about this aggressive nature. They talk about baseball. It's a fine line between aggressive play and being a bit foolhardy, a bit careless. At batting, you get one chance at batting. As a bowler, you can bowl all day if you like. One chance as a batter, one mistake and you're out. And getting back to 20s, 30s, I'd be looking at that card and maybe just having a nudge at a couple of 3 players and say, hey, you've done the work. You've got 20, you've got 30. You've got to kick on.
What was your attitude like, David? I mean, ultimately chasing down a big total in the innings was a tall order. Did you think England? Because when I listened to Darren Gough talking about a wicket that he thought would do a lot more in terms of turning, and it didn't. So when you look at that second innings, did you think England could chase it down? Was that in your mind, or did you think this is going to be bloody difficult?
Well, number one, this is going to be really difficult, but 2 days to do it. And then at the end of the third day, I think it was 67 for 1. So in 2 days, with 9 wickets, you want 330. It's then that I thought, well, if they play out of the boots, out of the skin, they have a chance of getting here. Where will they be at the end of day 4? If they need another 150, it's going to be game on. You've got to keep your wickets intact. I do like the aggressive approach. I like that. But if you just get a little bit reckless and you just tip the scale, you're going to come under a bit of scrutiny and you're going to get in trouble. And so you move on to this third test. I'm absolutely thrilled. I'm working on that third test. I'm down in the studio, so I can't wait to get going on that. And so they're all square, 3 to play. What sort of a pitch will it be? Well, it'll be a spinning pitch. They'll have the big guns back. There's no mistake about that. They'll have the big shots back.
Yeah. As you know, David, a gap now about, 10 days until the next test begins. From an English viewpoint, is that a good or a bad thing?
I think it's a good thing that you can regroup and, I hope they get a bit of time off as well. I've always been a massive believer when you're away from home and you're in a foreign country, get out, explore, get down the markets, get away from cricket for a while and then get your game head on. Come back into what you do and freshen up. I think that's the thing. You've got to freshen up before that third test. All eyes on the toss. You just watch. I'll be down in them studios, all eyes on that toss.
We'll be watching the toss. Actually, David, as far as I gather, the England players can go to Abu Dhabi now and get a few days away, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah, I like that. And they'll do some practice as well over there before they come back into India. And again, there's two ways of looking at this. You'll get some coaches who say, right, well, we've been beaten. You're in tomorrow. You're in the day after, banging away in the nets. You get stir crazy. I think you've got to have a time of reflection, get away from it, and then come back hard.
David, do you want to stick your neck out for us? It stands at 1-1. Who's going to win the series?
Well, I'm thinking of Steve Armisen, who said 4-1 for India, and he's still on track for 4-1. I think England can get another test match out of it. Let's hope they can get another 2. They've got to play a little bit better than they have. They've not played at their best in this game. My heart would say that England have got every chance under these two, McCullum and Ben Stokes. I think they've got every chance, but they've got to play a little bit better.
David Lloyd, thank you very much indeed. David will be back down here for the commentary of the third test. It begins next Thursday, February the 15th in Rajkot, and it's live and exclusive on talkSPORT 2.